here we go. Let's click the buy now. Here's a very important question. What business are you in? Transformation business. Very good. I like that. Most people say they're in the X business, whatever it is. I do blank for blank, and the reality is we are all in the attention business. You don't have a business unless you can get attention first, and it's my opinion that you also need to be in the entertainment business. It doesn't mean you need to be a comedian in order to succeed. What it means is people need to connect with you. You saw how Ryan a moment ago, he started out with that little dance. That was a great way to connect and see a very vulnerable real person. But it's important that you show bandwidth, an emotional bandwidth to connect with someone on every possible emotional level before you're given permission for them to say, wow, I like this person. That's the entry point. I think they are really, really smart, and I think they can help me. You get past those three, and they're yours. There's something that's sort of changed my life, and it's infomercials. When I was a young boy, I used to love going to the state fair and watch pitchmen. And I thought they had magical powers. And growing up in a lower middle class environment in Eagle Lake, Minnesota, we didn't have a lot of money. And I wanted to be rich someday. And when I saw this, and I saw what pitchmen could do at a state fair, and then when I saw infomercials and the pocket fisherman commercial, I thought, wow, that's really neat. People will buy stuff when they watch a video. And this is one in particular that sort of changed my life. It was one of the first long-format infomercials back in 1984 when Congress passed a law that said that companies could buy half-hour blocks of television. And here's one of them. I'll need audio for this.
Blue blocker sunglasses. They're really different.
My name is Geek. I put them on as a shocker. Man, I love these blue blockers. Everything is clear. They block out the sun. Oh, yeah, I gotta get me some.
It's not like 3D, but it's got that effect where everything is so separated.
They're great. Best sunglasses I've ever owned.
So this commercial was made where Joe Sugarman walked down Venice Beach with a camera and said, put these on and tell me what you see. Never did you look through the glasses. You looked at an emotional reaction and the feelings people got when they looked through the sunglasses. Joe went on to sell almost $1 billion worth of sunglasses with blue blockers. Okay? Pretty incredible. Now, as time went on, after I sold Digital Cafe and I started getting into online marketing, I was one of the first people to ever put video on the internet. I started doing movie trailers for Sony and Columbia back when videos were super tiny. Flash didn't even exist yet. We had to figure out how to encode video to play it back on websites when there were modems. It was slow. A little trailer took a long time to download, like 10 or 15 minutes for most people. But I was hooked, and that was in the 90s. So a little bit later, I started testing out and trying to figure out what is that magical formula that gets people to buy when they watch videos. And my first information product was called the Internet Infomercial Toolkit. And what I did is I analyzed the television infomercial, and I got introduced to some of the earliest television infomercial pioneers, like Joe Sugarman, another guy named Tim Hawthorne from Hawthorne Direct. He did all the Time Life videos in infomercials. And a woman named Nancy Markham, and they were responsible for producing hundreds of millions of dollars worth of sales with the infomercial. I contacted them and I said, I want to understand how to translate or how to make the television infomercial formula work online. All of them allowed me to interview them. They sent me scripts. Tim Hawthorne even produced a video for me that deconstructed the television infomercial. Joe Sugarman gave me his best-selling infomercials to put in that product, and I sold that thing for $1,000. It was released a year before YouTube came out. So when YouTube came out, I was the online video guy. And it ended up being, I don't know if we made $1 million, but we made hundreds of thousands of dollars with that product, and I learned the direct response world, okay? Now, in case you're not familiar with the term, I'm going to use the term webcast for the rest of this presentation, and the reason for that, I've been using livecast for a while. I use webcast now because it's what the industry recognizes as the term. Webinar is another way, but I believe it's a slightly confusing term because it might mean GoToWebinar, for example, just a screen. So a webcast, by my definition, is an opportunity to watch a video. You have a click to buy button, some sort of chat and a way to comment, and ideally a way for your viewers to click to share. Those are the proper components. Now, what's important about a webcast is they are very flexible in terms of what you can do with them. So what is important about a webcast, if you take a look at this is actually a screenshot from one of our sales days. And I will go through and give you and deconstruct some of these in a moment, but that is from my shopping cart. And when you are running a webcast, again, this is a sales webcast, the most exciting thing is to watch your first order come in. These are $2,000 orders that you see right here. But they were coming in at a rate of 10 to 20 per minute. And this represented a $1 million day for us, okay? So it's slightly cut off there. But that was very transformative. I'll tell you what, that really just imagine if you were watching the orders come in at a rate of $100,000 per hour. It does change your life. I will tell you that, okay? So now growing up, here you can see a little video. I told you yesterday, but I found a little video of my dad and I playing guitar. So this is right after I finished my cancer treatment. It was the first time I ever sang with my dad since I was 5 years old. So get a little verklempt over that one. But when people would ask me what I want to be when I grow up, I knew from the age 5, I'm 49 right now, I knew from age 5 I wanted to do something with computers someday. That's back when they had, magnetic tape, and I just liked this idea of automation. I thought it was cool. And that's my dad giving me a haircut. That's the same kitchen I grew up in. My parents still live in the same house. They've been married 50 years. They live in the same house I grew up in. So growing up, I didn't realize the great assets I had, which is a stable environment and two parents who actually love each other. But I wanted to be rich, and because we weren't rich, I wanted it even more. And I didn't have resources, and one thing, if you haven't noticed, I have an MBA in ADHD. I only learn, that's the only letters I got behind my name, the only way I learn is through immersive kinetic education, meaning I have to do in order to remember and understand things. It's just the way I'm wired. But schools aren't set up to teach kids who are broken like me. In other words, the good news is I've got other skills and I had to adapt. But I wasn't good in sports. I had the attention span of a bag of gnats on amphetamines. So I was the kid thrown out in left field, and I would be throwing my glove on moths, okay? And literally a ball would roll by me, and I'd have to decide, is it the moth or the ball? That was basically me. So last to be picked. So Mike is very creative would be what the teachers would write on my C- report cards at best. But I did learn how to program at age 14, and like I said, I fell in love with direct response marketing, and my mom thought I was insane, but back when you had bingo cards and magazines, those little things you circle, I would circle all of them, so I got stacks and stacks of mail, and I learned to read letters. I loved catalogs. The JCPenney catalog was a shredded mess when I grew up, and I loved reading about products, figuring out what I'm going to get when I'm rich someday. So what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a millionaire. That's what I'd say. So if you fast forward a few years, and along the way, lots of struggles, lots of micro failures, but I was always entrepreneurial. I loved making things. I loved talking to people and solving problems. So my first real business, I started as a consultant. My dad, as a barber, would be sitting down, and kids would be, these guys would be in saying, so, Bernie, tell me about your kids. Well, my oldest son, he likes computers. Oh, really? You think he can come in and show us we just got one of those Apple IIs, and my secretary still doesn't know how to use it. You think he can come in and teach you how to use it? And he goes, I think you probably do that. Let me get him on the phone. So Bernie the barber would call up Mike. Hey, I'm talking to Roger, and he's got an insurance company. He wants to know if you can come in and show his secretary how to use his computer. I said, sure. I'll tell you what, it beat the hell out of flipping burgers for $3.35 an hour because I could charge $10 an hour. But Roger Umquist, the Prudential life insurance agent, knew a guy who also was his upline manager supervisor who had an office full of 5 computers. And one of his friends ran a trucking company. He said, hey, you think you can write me an invoicing program for my trucking company? And I'd be like, yeah. So that's how I learned how to write code. I just made a commitment, I had a deadline, and I figured it out. So, got to learn by doing. So that's the story of my little life. But again, I didn't make any real money, and I didn't understand how to self-replicate. I didn't learn these little secrets, and there were no tools back when I grew up. But if you fast forward, after Infomercial Toolkit, I launched Traffic Geyser, and I figured out how to automate video submission online that would get SEO results. And that was in the days when you put out video and you named it something, you could dominate search engine listings like the first 30 position, meaning 3 pages in 20 minutes. And one of the things that took off is I met Frank Kern. We did a video together, and live and in real time, I demonstrated the software. It was recorded, and we dominated the search engine results. And Frank's like, I guess this shit actually works, Mike. And that was the video, and we put that out, and it was like one of the biggest launches for us, a mini launch. Made us about $150,000. Before then, I was working in the converted third stall of our garage. That was my office, consulting, doing video production for authors, experts, speakers, consultants, and coaches. My vow I made to myself is if I can make enough recurring income from my little software company, from Traffic Geyser, that exceeded what I was making in consulting for 6 months straight, I'd fire all my clients. So 6 months and 1 day later, it finally happened, shortly after I had met Frank. So fast forward a couple years. That's a picture of me with my mommy in the kitchen back in Eagle Lake, Minnesota. And I got a call from my accountant with some interesting news. It was actually my partner, I think about my former partner. He said, Mike, I got some good news for you. We created, what we did is we started paying attention to what all of our customers were doing with Traffic Geyser and with video marketing, and we noticed that most of them, the ones who were doing the highest volume submissions, were doing consulting for local businesses. And they were shooting out videos, doing search engine listings, and they were charging thousands of dollars for this. So I started a conversation with them. What are you doing? How are you doing it? How are you closing the deals? And we noticed some patterns out of the top 30 or 40, and they let me interview them, and we ended up looking at all of their strategies for getting customers and clients. And we ended up compiling it and asking them if they'd come to a live event like this and speak and teach and show off some of their strategies as a way just to get it's a customer appreciation event. And we packaged that into something we called Firepower. Ended up being one of our first little launches. And so I get this call from Rocket, my former business partner. He said, I got good news for you. And right after that, I reached over, grabbed my phone. I remember it was the first generation iPhone, and I was shaking, and I dialed my mom, and my mom answered the phone, and I started to cry, and I was heaving. She goes, honey, what's wrong? I said, Mom, you know how all my life I talked about I want to make $1 million someday? She said, yeah, honey. I go, well, I just made $1 million in a week. And she goes, wow, honey, that's great news. She goes, that's good. Do you want me to go outside and get your dad? He's out shoveling the driveway right now. And I said, yeah, go out and get him. And she goes, Bernie, Mike's on the phone. That's what my mom said. Michael Arnold Koenig, she'd say that, or Bernie. Anyway, Dad came to the phone. He walked in. You could hear him close the door because he was outside shoveling. And she says, the grandkids are coming over for dinner tonight. And she started talking about Eagle Lake, Minnesota. And then she said, oh, Bernie, Mike has something important to tell you. Because my parents couldn't give a rat's ass how much money I make. I didn't figure this out. Not for a long time. Anyway, I told Dad the story, and he goes, we're really proud of you, son. Now, what's this business you do? I know you do something online, don't you? My parents had no clue what I even did for a living. That's the truth. But what we figured out from that is how incredibly powerful it is just to listen to your customers, figure out what they're doing, what they're using your products for, and give them more of that. And that's really what that product was all about. And that product and launch ended up making $1.6 million, which changed my life, my business life, and it didn't mean I got to keep it. We grew, we expanded, we put all of our money back into that business. It wasn't like we did anything fancy, but it changes the game. And that was November 17th, 2009. So if you fast forward a little bit, this is May 2010. So about 5 months later, we had taken everything we learned from that, and this time, it was a beautiful day. I can remember I was out at one of our old offices. I get a text From at that point, we had a real accounting person working for us because we grew. And this text message just made me tingly because we had just opened up our shopping cart. And we had done a product launch. And Andy Jenkins had worked with me to write the scripts. And we really learned how to just make this thing work. I called up the phone and I said, Mom? Yeah, honey? Remember how I called you about 4 or 5 months ago and I told you how I made $1 million in a week? She goes, yeah, honey. I go, well, I just made $1 million in 44 minutes. She goes, wow, honey, that's a lot better than a week, isn't it? I go, yes, it is. It's actually a week. It's actually an hour and 20 years. And what I left out from before is when I talked to my mom, I said I made it in a week in 25 years. Because that's the truth, right? It's momentum you build from the education, the research, all these little tweaks. But she said, well, you know, the grandkids are coming over for lunch in a little while. Your father's out in the garden right now. Should I go out and get him so you can tell him the good news? And I go, yeah, why don't you go do that? So she walks to the door. She goes, Bernie, Mike's on the phone. I'm like, so Dad comes in. He goes, what's going on, son? I go, well, you know, I told you about, 5 months ago I had that $1 million week. And he goes, yeah. I go, I just made $1 million in 44 minutes. He goes, damn, son. Do you know how many haircuts I'd have to do to make $1 million? He goes, I don't know how you do it. When are you coming home? And Mom and Dad just started talking about what's going on in like Minnesota because they couldn't give a rat's ass about the money. They just don't. They don't care. But while we're talking, and she's telling me about Karen Groos down the road, and the neighbors in my neighborhood still live in the same houses. It's crazy, at least the ones that are still alive. But I got a text an hour and 14 minutes later, and we just hit $2 million in sales. And that's when the heart starts going. It's sort of like, holy cow. And that launch went on to not only produce $9.1 million in gross revenue, but we did our first webcast, our first live cast, where we invited our customers in to tell their transformational stories. And they sat down, I interviewed them, and I'm like, what specifically are you doing? That's really how our strategy of doing these panels came from. It was an evolution. But it's like, what are you doing? How are you doing it? What are you doing right now? And we made these shows. And the show went on for 12 hours. And at the end of it, we had generated $3.1 million. And that was on the final day of the launch. And that's when it's like, holy cow, we got something going on here. This is pretty interesting. So I'm only telling you this. I'm going to show you some of these things. Our next launch did 4.2 million. Our launch revenue there is 14.9 by that point. And we just replicated it over and over again. And believe me, we made a lot of mistakes. A lot of things broke along the way. But what did important, even though our revenue per launch started going down, part of it's because the launch strategy changed a lot, the getting people's attention changed, but our net profit started going up, and it's because of the webcast. So over a period of time, we've produced and generated well over $40 million now in launch revenue. Over half of that has come from doing webcasts. I believe it is the single most valuable strategy you'll ever learn. But it's not about that money. I remember JJ told me the first time she met me, she didn't like me because she said, you're all about the money. I thought you were all about the money. And what she didn't know is that my wife, who's sitting in the back with my son right now, what was important is I started introducing, with my wife's suggestion, talking about the charitable work we were doing. And at our events, we started raising money. And over time, we raised over $2 million for the Just Like My Child Foundation. My son's been there twice. We're all going back in June for it'll be my 4th time, his 3rd time, and her 19th time. But her work is supporting over 600,000 people. She's built 7 schools, a hospital. And the level of influence you have with a tribe, the level of connection that you have, and your ability to move mountains with your message, with your word, being able to contain who you are and what you are in a show so people see and feel who you really are and what you're all about. And my mission, my vision in life is to create 1 million entrepreneurs before I pass. And I believe right now we live in the single greatest moment in human history when you can turn on your computer, you can talk to 1, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 people simultaneously and have a conversation with them, and sell, produce, make products, deliver products, start a conversation. I just think we are living right now. This is the defining moment in human history when personal desktop is available to everyone. We can open up your phone and communicate with the planet. But think about the lives you can change, the lives you can save. And all this money doesn't matter, because when a mother walks up to you and she's holding a baby and she's saying, "You saved my child's life," that's what matters. Okay? Thank you. Thank you very much. So now we've adapted and have been building and done now hundreds of webcasts. Now you're going to see one shortly with JJ Virgin. She's been using this. We've adapted it for her market. John Asaraf, who was speaking here the other day, this is his single format for generating revenue in his business. He stopped speaking. He stopped traveling. He's driving traffic from Facebook to a encore replay of a recording he shot in our studio last November. Okay? It is producing millions of dollars in revenue for him right now, selling a $1,000 product. So what I can tell you is, I believe this format will work for you. And when you understand the psychology, it has very little to do with the technology. Yes, I'm going to show you some of the techie stuff and explain that. But you have to understand how to connect. Remember, someone needs to, first of all, you got to get their attention. You got to have them show up and say, "I like this person. I like what they stand for. I like their values. They really know what they're talking about. And I think they can help me. What's the next step?" That's what this conversation's all about. Okay? John helps with brains. JJ helps with your health, the quality of your life, with nutrition, with your performance. But she's also moving into personal development because she's got a remarkable story to tell. So one of the experiments we did a couple of webcasts, JJ and I, and then she said, "Hey, what if we took and maybe took TED plus PBS, and I invited some of my doctor friends and we did a show, an all-day show. What do you think would happen?" So we produced this program called the Health Network, 9 professionals, including JJ, and they all promoted this event, and we performed it live over a period of 9 hours. So now this is a little more complicated. It's not just you with a webcam clicking a button and chatting with your friends, but we said, let's do TV. She goes, I don't want to do this TV stuff anymore. It doesn't work. It doesn't sell books. Let's make a show. So I said, let's do it. So there we are. We're closing. This is in a set, and this is one of her programs. There we are in the kitchen set. We'll be doing that in a little while. So all it is just a different camera, and we're cooking and doing stuff. It's active. Here we are with an interview. This is Jeff. He's lost 46 pounds, 65 pounds now using the JJ plan, okay? So what are the results of this? So those people that you saw in the network promoted this, and I'm sharing this with you because this is just one of the formats, one of the ways to make money. You can work with other experts, even if you're not an expert, even if you're not an authority, and do shows with them. We generated about 30,000 opt-ins. At our peak, we're at 8,200. It may have been closer to 9,000 viewers. I know we just looked at the data again. We had 2,530 buyers, so that was $245,410. We sold a $97 product, okay? So we averaged around 5,000 viewers most of the day. That's kind of where it was. So now we added an encore, so it was a replay. That added another $54,000 and 557 buyers. It was a direct-to-consumer audience. Our audience were working moms, $97 product. And all we did is we took all of some products, gifts that each of the experts had, we collapsed it so we had one offer. So we just did a little interview, a little show, and then told them to buy. And we had advertisers, and no one crabbed about it. So imagine you got about 40 minutes of content, almost a 15-minute commercial to buy the thing, and then we ran 2 or 3-minute commercials in between the segments. No one complained because the content was so good, and we were answering questions live and talking to people. It's interactive TV that can be watched, seen, viewed in real time or recorded on desktops, laptops, phones, now smart TVs, tablets. The level of access you have is unimaginable right now, and the costs of doing this with television would be unimaginable. tens of millions of dollars to reach the same people. Now you got no cost. Click a button, you're broadcasting, and you can communicate and sell and promote and market. But there's more that you can do with it. Now, the net result is JJ and I started a new business. We're actually building a health network. We're bringing in other health and fitness professionals to do programming. We're already being contacted by people after this who want to promote this because we can run the replays. We can repurpose the content. It might end up showing on TV sometime. See the possibilities here? If this isn't making your head spin already, I don't know what will, but I've got more. All right, I'm excited. Now, I've also put everything down. This is my next venture, Mixiv. So what I'm doing with JJ, I had to create kind of a shell for my own stuff, and I just call it Mixiv. So it's the network of networks. So it's build, engage, and monetize your audience with live interactive online TV. I know Vincent was here earlier, and he's like, okay, you getting this, Vincent? Excited? Yep. All right, so the big idea is a network of networks. So I'm going to show you something right now. If you're looking at this, this is a simple green screen. You can get these for $200, sometimes even less. It's a little stand. You can put it in your bedroom. You can take it with you. It comes in a folding, collapsible bag. You can stand on it, and what you can do with this is pretty amazing. So you don't need any fancy equipment to do what I'm about to show you on the video right now, but I'm going to click the video because I didn't want to set everything up. But this is called a chroma key green screen background, and with it, you can be standing in $1 million studio in your living room, your bedroom, or your office. Check this out. Audio, please. All right, here I am. I'm standing on top of a piece of green chroma key fabric, and this by itself is not very interesting, but it's what you can do with it that is. So let's just move on to a virtual set. Here we are right now on a stage. And what's cool is I can use my little clicker and it actually advance through a keynote or a PowerPoint slide presentation. Now what you're looking at right now are some of the tools that can make this possible. There's some free software, it's called Webcast for YouTube, that can enable you to do the technology stuff. You can start out with a real basic webcam like the one you're looking at on the screen right now, and a laptop that could be a PC or a Macintosh computer, and again this piece of green chroma key fabric. But what's cool about this is we can actually change virtual sets. Here's another one, for example, where I'm standing up and I have a virtual monitor. And again, we're using copy-paste technology to make this work. You do not have to be super technical to make any of this work. It's as easy as standing up and being able to present and perform. Now, the next thing that's really cool is we could actually go to another virtual set. This one, for example, is a studio. We can zoom in, we can zoom out to make it look pretty exciting. I'm still standing up, even though it looks like I'm actually sitting down. And it's all being done with one camera. Now, the technology we use to broadcast to tens or hundreds or thousands or even millions of people completely free of charge is either Google Hangouts or YouTube Live, completely free. And remember, all of this is happening right now on nothing more than a piece of chroma key fabric. Let's go back to that right now so you can see how simple this is. And that's part of what you learn when you start learning how to use Livecast to present and perform and sell and connect with the entire planet. It's also a great way to create content very, very quickly. Cool? All right. Now, just for the record, there is a free version of Wirecast, although the one that does the virtual set technology starts at $300. So that was one little inaccuracy I wanted to point out. But it's really affordable. I don't know about you, $1 million set for $300? Not a bad deal, right? Okay, so moving right along. A few things about why I think webcasting is so important. The first of which is I believe it's the future of online sales, product creation, and podcasting. Not only can you use this to create live shows, you can create recorded shows. And then you can take, let's say, the video, you can turn it into audio as an audio podcast. You can transcribe it, turn it into a book. You can use it as a way to attract advertisers and sponsors and grow a business without having to travel. It combines the most valuable skills that you can learn: presenting, performing, gaining attention. Anyone, every business in the world needs this. When I talk to people about it right now, they're like, when can we start working together? Everywhere I go, can you show me how to do it? Those are the two questions I get all the time. Next, it'll work in any industry, in any business, and any business type in the world, and that includes nonprofits. Okay, so Vivian, for example, can use this with Just Like My Child. We're built, so she finally moved out of the third stall. I moved out of there to build the business. She moved out. Now she's in a room, so Zach and I are taking over, and we're building a studio so we can do a show with my wife, for example. So I believe that not only is this, it's incredibly fun. I mean, let's just face it. Wouldn't you like to be able to show up, turn on the camera, and start talking and connect with people and be able to market and promote? It's a great, simple, easy way to start connecting on a deeper level. So, what's it good for? Well, number one, selling products and services. We've got that model down. It works like crazy. Secondly, it's the best way to start your own live or recorded online TV show or podcast. Raise your hand if you'd like to have your own online TV show or podcast. Just hi, just so I get an idea here. You imagine yourself doing that? Okay, good. Next, great way to make video information products. So this is how I fulfill products now. You can promote, sell, start a conversation, and then make products and fulfill this way. Next, you can broadcast any event or meeting and make it interactive. So we're going to be doing a broadcast today with JJ. It's a great way to build a personal or a corporate brand and produce interviews, books, or content. Having and doing shows is your way to access celebrities, authorities, and experts to build and leverage your brand as well. It's the fastest way I know of. And demonstrate products and services. Companies will pay you to do shows about their products in any niche, anywhere in the world. And you can bag up a little studio. It doesn't take much. It's a backpack or two of equipment. So what I want to do is a little exercise right now. So imagine right now we actually produced a show together. So if I held you by the hand and I showed you how, and you'd imagine yourself in your own home studio, either standing here, you put a chair here, you look at your screen, and you click through and you talk, right? And think about, what is your show or webcast called? Get your pens out right now. What would you name your show? Who is it for and who will it help? And what will you sell, promote, or advertise on it? So go ahead, and I'm going to run that little timer. Let's get a microphone. As soon as you've got an idea, raise your hand. I'm going to have a mic runner come out right over here. We got a swimming show. I can feel it. All right. Let's run. We got 2 minutes. I want to hear as many as I can. Keep your hand up with whatever show idea. Write it down. Go for it. You're on. Fast.
Okay. I want to do a show called The Swim Instructor to
Yep.
save lives worldwide.
Good. So would you have you'd show, demonstrate, maybe bring in some pre-recorded video and be a consultant to parents?
Yeah, it'd be like a parody, like the Dog Whisperer. You know,
Good.
I'm the key guy. Come with your problem, I'll solve it.
Like it. Next. That's sad music. Let's play something happier than that. Okay,
It's something along the lines of, there's nothing new in sales, but here's what works.
Good.
Interviewing all of the top sales authors and distilling their stuff.
Great. And then you can sell or promote their products, right? Good. Next.
Become brilliant, learn to read in 2.5 hours.
Okay. Say it one more time for me.
Become brilliant, learn to read in 2.5 hours.
Okay. That's almost like a little product. So you'd want to do something a little bit deeper. It's a good idea, though. Let's do the next one. Imagine that could be a one-time show, and that's cool. That would be like a sales event. Yeah, so that is good. I mean, it's actually very compelling now I think about it. I was thinking through my lens of shows, but that's a one-off. Good. Next.
How to make books for new and beginning authors.
Great. Next one. Sue.
Well, you know what mine's going to be. It's going to be live your retirement dream, and it's going to be showing you how to generate added income for your later years using your knowledge and skills and interviewing lots of folks who are doing it. Joni's #1. We've already booked that.
Yep. If I could have copyright-free music, please.
My show is Wealth, Wisdom, and What's New. Covers every topic. You can have people who know about finance, people know about health, talk about spirituality. Covers everything.
Love it. Love it. One more.
Healthy Eating Solution.
Healthy Eating Solutions.
Teaching people about healthy eating.
I happen to know that works. Okay, Lori over here. Let's run one more. You can just shout it out, Lori. I'll repeat it. Sex, Energy, Alchemy, the secret of how entrepreneurs become more successful every day. So you're going to interview other successful entrepreneurs. Great access point. Awesome. Good. So at least get some ideas here of what's possible. I can promise you we could go through and probably come up with 10 show ideas really quickly. That's part of the exercise. All right. Once you start going down this path, I promise you'll have more. So what are the 21 keys to $1 million day? I'm going to go through this. So I'm going to show you how I do this. And again, you're going to see it on multiple levels today. Number one, I'm going to go through the 21 keys to webcast sales success. You're going to want to write these down as I go through them. They're very fast. It's taken 7 years to figure it out, test, prove, reproduce, and teach. And I'm going to share the formula completely transparently so you'll understand how it works and how you can use it too. Okay, and this will work with Webinar Jam. It'll work with Go. It'll work with any of these formats. And what to do is, I'm actually going to raise the stakes, and I'm going to show you how to make a no-brainer offer. Okay, so I'm going to illustrate this because I will present an offer. You're going to see how the flow goes, and pay attention to how you feel as I do it. You're going to learn on a meta level. And then I'm going to close because some of you are going to get up and run to the back of the room. That much I can promise you. Okay? And the offer is going to go away 14 minutes after I finish. You like that? Yep. Good. I heard that. And I have exactly 40 fast action bonuses. Okay? What is that? So, and I'll let you know when to run to the back of the room. You with me? Okay? Now, what's great about this is what works in person works online. So, key number 1, ask for the sale. It's the first lesson. Realize and know what the purpose of your show is about. If it's about selling or producing something, you ask for the sale. Next, the first and most important thing is you have to get attention. One of the ways that I got attention with you is I had a prop waiting. I opened a loop. Okay, what is that thing for? What does this mean? Is it going to be hard, right? So I could have come out here with all sorts of objects. Key number 3 is the audience line. That is a picture of a trailer park. I've said this many times. Do not sell to poor people or broken people. You will go broke and be broken if you try to do that. Do I need to be any more clear? That doesn't mean don't help the poor. Use the wealth you create to help the poor and support a charity. But knowing who your audience is. Next, something that drives me nuts. Hey, all of you. Would all of you, anyone who, hey, all you guys. Women, do you like being called guys? Good. Don't do it. Guys, listen to that. Notice my language patterns today. I will be speaking to you. I will be speaking to one person. This is one relationship, one set of eyeballs to a camera all the time. Next, step number 5, this is free. Okay? This is how you become likable instantly, is when you smile. And by the way, getting for your teeth whitened doesn't cost a lot of money. It's a good deal. But use that smile. This will make you twice as likable and increase your sales a minimum of 20% the more you smile. Pay attention to interviews and say, do I like this person? The ones you don't like and you don't warm up to aren't smiling. The ones who do, you will. Pay attention to how you react to people on TV. Oh, I don't like that person. You know why? Because they're glum. All right. Key number 6. This is key. Every single time we open up a show, hi, welcome to the JJ Virgin show. Make sure you introduce yourself. Type in who you are, where you live, and what you do for a living. What's your biggest health problem? Go ahead and type that in right now. Make sure you share. Okay, now, I'm using a language pattern. Now, if this is for a business audience, you might change your tonality. You might change your speed. But the key is you get people engaged, because if they're not typing, they're not listening, they're not watching, they ain't paying attention to you. They're texting, twaddling, or twittering. And you only want them to twaddle and twitter when you tell them to. Next, you're reading minds. How do you do that? We've got a live interactive chat. So the more questions you ask, the more engaging you are, the more you tell them to do things and type, the longer they'll stay on, and they'll tell you exactly what they are thinking. And you don't need more than a few people to be able to do this. Key number 8, creating a memorable theme. If you remember when Ed and I did the Predictions livecast, we dressed up. So I just ordered some goofy stuff from Amazon. The capes cost about 20 bucks each. The turbans about 15 bucks. Crystal ball, don't remember what it was. A magic 8 ball, 10 bucks. Less than $100 worth of props. You probably have some junk laying around. You might be wondering why I'm wearing a balloon animal on my head. Guess what? This is because, right? Create a reason to, aren't you that goofy guy with the balloon on your head? Yes, as a matter of fact, I am. Do you remember what that was about? Yes, it related to me. So, all right, next, passion sells. Is there anyone here Who has any question whatsoever as to whether or not I'm passionate about doing live casts and webcasts? Anyone? Okay. So, when you speak from the heart and you're speaking to the one, this will naturally happen, especially if you're smiling. It releases happy chemicals into your body. Key number 10, you'll notice that we don't say, hey, it's Sunday in San Diego and the weather's great, and don't you hate that jerk Obama? Look, it's timeless. Don't record anything, because your goal is to record something, and when that thing works, that's your encore. That thing will make money for you over and over and over. It will connect with people. It can be broken into chunks and reused and repurposed and turned into a different format. Key 11, just so happens. So let me ask you a question. If you were running a live cast and it was making $10,000 per hour, would you stop if the orders kept on coming in? Okay, good. Would you go 16 hours if you kept on making $10,000 per hour? Okay, maybe figure out a way? Drink some tea? Okay, the point is, some of the biggest mistakes I've made is listen to people, hey, we have to stop because we said so, and I listen to them. That's stupid, in my opinion, okay? You end when you're ready to end, not when some sort of ill-defined. So we don't say how long our shows are going to last, because if they're going well, we let them go. I don't even say goodbye anymore. Okay? I don't. Drives Jesse nuts. Aren't you gonna? But. It's like, no. We're gonna run a loop. We're gonna run a replay because someone may have shown up at a different time. Let the thing run for 24 hours if the orders keep coming in. All right? Just saying. Props, bring on props. So bring out visual interest, open up loops, get people excited about what's going to happen next. Hey, why do you have that deck of cards in front of you? I'll get to that in just a little while. Just a little while. Might be next week. Okay, no, it won't be that. But all right, so key number 13. This is critically STYC, so that you can. Imagine turning on your laptop, opening up, and starting a conversation. So the first webcast you do is so that you can connect with your audience and build a relationship and maybe tell your opening core story. Why do you do what you do? Then you are going to demonstrate your product and how it works so that you can build some interest. So people say, hey, when can I buy that? Notice how we do that? Every single thing. Pay attention to our language patterns that Jesse and I use today. You're going to feel the structure. Then imagine yourself in your living room. You're sitting down right now on a chair. You can have a little stand. You click the button. You only need a laptop to do this and a webcam to get started. Now, of course, you can get more sophisticated later on, but you can just sit here, turn on the camera, and start broadcasting free. And know that that same content can become a podcast. Then you can start contacting other authors and experts. Can you imagine how you can see how I'm doing that? Okay? We can't help but go there. That's the way we're wired. This is base psychology. Next, we seed the sale. So early on, we're going to be talking about what is possible. So for example, I'll say, now imagine if I held you by the hand, live or virtual. So let me ask you, I'm going to just open this up before I go through this process. So raise your hand if you can imagine yourself or you would love to start your own show and you want to use Webcast. Okay, now stand up if that's you. Okay? All right, great. Now, I'm going to ask you the series of questions, which is, now imagine if I brought you into my studio and I set you up and I showed you step by step how to make a product and I walked you through it so that you could actually produce your first show. Is that interesting? Okay. Now, what if I made you camera confident? Raise your hand if you are not camera confident. You don't like the way you look, sound, or you got some big story about how you're too blank, fill in the blank. Okay. What if I could erase that in about 15 minutes or less? Okay? Is that interesting? Next, what if I reviewed your offer and I made it a no-brainer so people would actually want to buy it? Okay, now you can sit down. It's totally cool. But the whole point is, this is effectively what's going on during a live cast and a webcast, is you're asking your audience to raise their hands and get involved and imagine themselves in this place. Now imagine if I could show you how to pitch and sell on video using these same formulas. Taking me 25 years to figure them out, 7 years to refine them, and they're replicable. I've got clients who are nailing it on their first try. I'll show you a little video in a moment of someone who did that in one day. If I gave you the flow of a show that has worked over and over again, so you don't have to figure it out, it's copy-paste. And I'm helped make you persuasive and influence the behavior of your viewers before they get on and while they're on watching you. And I gave you my technology, tools, and templates. I've blown hundreds of thousands of dollars on the wrong stuff, making a lot of mistakes, a lot of very, very expensive mistakes, and you don't have to do that. And I help you made your show and helped you build a brand. So what I just did right now is I seeded a product. So at a certain point in your presentation, it can happen 5 or 10 or 15 minutes in. It doesn't have to be manipulative or slimy. You're just getting your audience to imagine themselves in that place. So, now all of this is turnkey, step-by-step from your living room. There's 5 steps. 5 steps. This is the other 5. This is the real 5. Okay, there's 5 steps to doing successful livecasts. First of all, there's a preparation. So it's just understanding what your show hook and your show flow is. Step 2 is producing. And that's being able to understand how to produce. It's basically setting up and plugging in the hardware and understanding a few things. It takes some practice the first few times. But then how to promote. How are you going to get attention? How are you going to get people to show up? The 4th is, how do you perform? How do you influence, persuade, and entertain? So how do you take all of the knowledge from infomercials, from Home Shopping Network, from PBS, from traditional television and radio and pitchmen, and collapse it in a form that isn't yucky and isn't salesy and actually is congruent with who you are? You don't have to change your being. You don't have to change anything about you. It's understanding that there is a scientific structure to how people make decisions. And finally, how to actually close the sale and how to profit. And there's a lot of different ways to profit. Now, there's some ways, which is actually doing live casts for other people as a consultant. Another way is to partner up with other experts. If you don't have a list at all, you can partner up with them and actually promote, market, and sell their programs, okay? There's other ones, selling your own products. There's another way where you could actually take a percentage of someone's business. There's a multitude of ways to leverage this. And then know that you'd have coaching along the way. Now, that format I just gave you will work for you in any business. I just laid it out, but I am seeding the sale here. I'm showing you that is a step-by-step process. You can apply this in your own business. Now, next, we're going to create irresistible declining bonuses. So these are going to go away when people start investing or buying, and they're things that people are going to want. So here's a couple of them. One of them is I have a book promotion system. So raise your hand if you have a book or you are doing book publishing for or with other people. Okay, great. Now, there is a formula. You're going to watch one of the show formats with JJ, but we have a formula for selling books and using that as a hook to get people to show up and buy your higher ticket items or your clients. Next, I've spent 7 years doing this, a lot of time spending a lot of money. At this point, millions of dollars investing in my company. We have copy-paste invitation scripts and letters and emails. Would you like to get your hands on my scripts that actually make money? So you don't have to figure it out. The time savings, the experience, hiring people, it's copy-paste. Next, a consultant toolkit. So if you've ever dreamed of, if you're doing consulting right now and you think that maybe you'd like to do webcasts for other people, and charge for it, this is how to get and close those deals. And then a partner profit system. This is essentially a version of what I'm doing with JJ, what I've done with other partners where there are ways to do partnerships. How do you structure a deal that is good for everyone? Okay, so I'll deconstruct my most successful webcasts. I'll show you how to build an engaged audience and go behind the scenes and watch me build my new business. So the most important part of this is when I completed my final contract on April 18th, I started a brand new company. I'm actually taking a small group of people who are going to watch me build a brand new company, a media company that does webcasts behind the scenes. So that's just for the first people who go through this. Okay, so do you understand what I'm doing right now? Okay, so now there are some fast action bonuses. So here's how this works. So first of all, I have pictures. So the first one is, first 25 are going to get the studio green screen kit. So this you can take with you today, but only for the first 25 who register. Next, first 30, here's what we're doing. I have a membership site where we've got training segments inside it right now, And on June 8th, 9th, and 10th, live in person, you're going to watch me create a product live on stage. So you're going to understand how to create products using Livecast. We're going to broadcast it to people who might not be able to attend it live, but you'll be in a room and watch us do Livecast, set up the equipment, and go through this formula and create a product all in real time transparently. Okay? So imagine what you could do with this in your own business. This is fast. Now, if you sign up for the product lab, you can imagine how quickly you can accelerate the process. So that's happening in San Diego. Now, that's only the first 30. We have a small group, so we can give you some personalized attention. Now, the first 40, I will personally review your pitch and product show idea. Right? So, if you're wondering, okay, is this going to work for me? So, what's the price? Now, I want you to do something. Take a look, turn around, and look right now. So there are some people who said, okay, and they did this very sneaky because they know some of the bonuses are going to run out. Okay? Now, this is what happens online. So what's the price? So first of all, the price of the program is $79.98 retail. Okay? That's for the new product and the live masterclass. And that includes the final retail product. So right now I'm producing the new product. When I launch it, it's going to be more money. So just the information product alone is $79.97. And that's without the masterclass, the pitch review, or any of the bonuses. Now, when I do just the masterclass, I'm going to charge between $5,000 and $8,000 just for that. But it's not for you. So here's what happens. So, number one, the Webcast Profit Toolkit training, which is the core product. Part two, I have 25 of the Chroma Key Studio production kits. I actually have 10 of them. The rest of them we're going to ship. If you're international, you'll want to take it with you. So next, 30 of you get to come to the master class. We have a limited number of seats available, and I have sold the other chunk of them already. 40 get to pitch your show idea to me. Next, you get the $1 Million Day scripts, tools, and templates. You get the Webcast book promotion system, the Webcast consultant toolkit, the partner profit system, so you can do this with or for partners, and we've opened up a private Facebook community so you can get support and help from other members. You'll be able to have dialogues going on and also post your live casts and webcasts as they're going on. You can get feedback from other members. So the total of the program is $13,193. Has a 30-day money-back guarantee. It's $19.97. That's today only. Okay, so as soon as this event is done, it's $24.97 if I have any space available. When I launch it, it'll be $29.97 without any of the bonuses and without the masterclass. Okay? So, at this point, I will say, I'll ask for the sale. Now, I didn't even have to do that, but right now's the time to raise your hand and say, I want the application, and to start filling that thing out while I go through the rest of this training. Because I will give you this video in the membership site so you can actually watch what happened here. So, key 17 are the yes reasons. So I'm going to give you 10 reasons why you want to do this right now and why you want webcasts. So the first one is there are currently 3 billion Facebook videos that are watched every day on Facebook. And over 200 million hours of video is being watched on YouTube every day. I think it's actually 300 million right now. Video works on TV, infomercials, home shopping network. I'm not taking a formula that hasn't been around. This thing works. It's the fastest way to create content, engage, and sell an audience. And you can communicate anywhere, anytime, any device on demand. There's 4 billion smartphones, over 1 billion tablets in use, and over 3 billion internet-connected desktop and laptop computers. And I believe it'll work for any business or cause, including nonprofits. So, the next reason, you can record once and use the encore recordings like John Asraf is doing, like we're going to be doing with JJ. And you're going to be left behind if you don't start now. I think your competitors are going to do it for you. I think the entire industry, television industry, is trying to figure this out right now. Okay? The opportunities, I've talked to hardware manufacturers that want to put our shows on their TVs. There isn't enough niche content. And so for an entrepreneur to create content right now, it's an unbelievably huge opportunity. You can produce webcasts as a consultant for money. And more importantly, I'm going to hold you by the hand and take all the risk. And I don't know about you, but when I think about this, this gets me out. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning right now thinking about this. I haven't been so excited about anything. And I would hope that you're going, I know I want this, right? So, next is the social proof. Now, that's one key element of social proof, and I'll explain that to you in a moment. But this is a video from one of the doctors right after we did our first show. His name is Dr. Srini Pillai. So again, if you want to borrow authority or expertise, other people will give it to you. So let's play this. Here's the audio.
Hi, my name is Dr.
Let's crank that up, please.
I'm a part-time assistant professor at Harvard Medical School and the CEO of Neuro Business Group. And I'm here today just to tell you one simple fact, and that is that live streaming is the future of spreading messages. Now, the reason I actually think this is that I think deep within every health expert is this desire to spread a message worldwide. And in general, when we think about spreading this message, we've got to cave to publishers, we've got to cave to sort of normal general media. You don't really have the ability to craft your message on your own. And the reason I'm here today, and the reason I'm really quite elated about this whole experience, is that we were able to craft a message that we truly believed in a market that we actually understand intimately and differently from television executives. So for me, the experience of working with Mike Koenigs and JJ Virgin was really incredible from a number of different perspectives. I think, first of all, having their expertise, both about the content and the way to reach people and being trained in this, was really phenomenal. But secondly, Mike's energy is off the charts. And I really think that if you ever want to do this, you really need someone like that to walk you through the day. So my experience of working with Mike in this context is that this is an incredible opportunity, not just to work on your own and spread your own message, but to leverage the collective intelligence of people you truly love and respect so that you can get to the people who need your message now. Live streaming is the way, and Mike is your way to get there.
Okay, so that's one piece of social proof. Now here's another one if you've thought about doing it for money. So what I've done is that's a professional. So one of the goals that I have is to identify people in my community because I've got people who want to do networks and they're looking for talent. So obviously just being in proximity is useful. Here's someone who's doing this for a living right now. He's actually Webcast are part of his product offering. This is Diego Rodriguez.
This is Diego Rodriguez, and I'm the founder of the Power Marketing Consultants Network. And I just wanted to tell you really quick about how important video and live casting has been to our business. We've generated over $1 million in sales by using video and live casting specifically in just the last 3 years alone. And here's the thing. I didn't know anything at all about live casting until I met Mike Koenigs. I learned about the production and business model from him, and I'd obviously recommend that you take advantage of any opportunity to learn about live casting from him as well. So not only do we use live casting for our own business, but we sell the service to our customers as well. I mean, you can use it for anything and everything. I honestly believe it's the wave of the future, and anyone who doesn't get into live casting is going to get left in the dust. So let me just give you a couple of real quick examples of how we use it for our clients. One of my customers has a large national network of salespeople, like many organizations do. Well, instead of only connecting with these guys once a year at a national sales conference, we have a monthly live cast where we connect everyone, share best practices, give out live training, and keep everyone updated. It's made a significant impact on their business. Another client I have is a contractor, and he built a training program for other contractors that we sold online. We used the live casting model and sold over $204,000 in only 8 days. I mean, I can give you lots of ideas about how we use live casting and how you could use this for anything. I mean, you use it for doctors and dentists to connect with their customers, for mortgage brokers to speak to realtors, for plumbers and electricians to teach home improvement, and I could go on and on and on. Here's the thing, brothers and sisters, live casting is the future. If you're not doing it, you need to do it. We're doing it, and the results are incredible, and I learned it all from Mike. So I can't encourage you enough to learn about it from him too. If you get a chance to learn about live casting from Mike Koenigs, do it.
All right. He just made that for me as a gift, all right? So I've got one more to show you. Thank you. Appreciate that. This is one more. The audio will have to be cranked on this. I got this from Brad Costanzo. Now, he's in my mastermind, and I talked to him about this format, and I laid it out for him. I actually showed him part of this presentation. So here's what he did, and listen to the timing on this. This was this Tuesday. We sat down from 7 o'clock until 10 at night. This is the result.
Hey there, Mike. Brad Costanzo here. I've got to tell you, the marathon, telethon, webathon style live cast that you were talking about the other night in our mastermind really inspired me. And that was Tuesday night. So Wednesday decided, okay, myself and my partner Kent are going to do this. And Thursday, we did an 8-hour live webathon where we sold multiple products. Actually had a 6-figure day. I believe we just broke $100,000. I mean, today's Friday. I just got done looking at some of the numbers, and that doesn't include everything else we're going to do. Now, what was crazy about this is, you talked about how effective it was. Well, within like 18 hours later, we had this thing ready and rocking. No idea what we were doing. There was no strategy whatsoever except get on there, be authentic, pull in as many offers as we can, hit the list like the night before once, and then 5 times, I think, the day of, letting them know, look, we don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be crazy, but let's just see. And dude, it worked really smoothly. It was fun. It was exciting. Lost my voice a little bit, but everybody loved it. We got tons of feedback. We've got a great recording, and I mean, we sold $30,000 in the first few hours, and then it just kept on coming in, and everything from product sales to coaching applications to coaching sales and everything else. It was just really tremendous, and I had no idea it would work as well as it did. And it's big thanks to you, man. You inspired me, and hopefully you're inspiring a lot of other people to give it a try. I think we're seeing a new big trend in this industry, and I think it'll be a good one. Thanks a lot, man.
All right. Thank you. So I just said, all I want is 120%. Fair enough? No, I'm just kidding. All right. So now what we do, and this is what we do on our show, and what I'll do right now is thank you. Thank you for being the first person to stand up, Lori. So we acknowledge our buyers. We do that online. We talk about what's going on. Now on PBS, you see the phones ringing. They do it on Home Shopping Network. It is a powerful psychology strategy. Another one is get off the fence. Do you know what you get when you sit on the fence? Splinters and slivers. So John Assaraf has a great line. Are you interested or are you committed? So, are you interested in webcasting or are you committed to using it in your business right now? Are you committed to growing your business before your competition does? This is going to get very full and saturated very quickly, like teleseminars and webinars, and whoever gets the practice in and understands the format and implements is the one to take off. You know that feeling you get? It's like, why should I even bother because so-and-so is already ahead of me? Do not be that person saying that a couple of months or a couple of years from now. That's all I have to say to you. All right, so here are the keys. I'm going to go through them quickly. The first one, ask for the sale. Second, get attention. Third, what's the audience line? Sell an appropriate product to a great market. Fourth, speak to the one. There's a relationship with you and one person on the other side of the camera. Smile. It makes you likable and it's free. Keep the eyes, ears, and fingers busy. Read their minds with chat. JJ Virgin said she learned more about her customers in 2 hours than she did in 10 years, just from the live chat alone. They tell you what they want. They tell you what their objections are, and they tell you when you've overcome them, and they tell other people who are watching and listening to buy after they buy the products. Create a memorable theme. Make it memorable. Passion sells. Make it timeless so it is replayable. The encore presentation. Using a long format. Stay on as long as they're buying. If they're not buying, it's free. You can do another one. No one's going to knock you. They're not going to punch you through the screen, right? They're going to tell you if they want something different. There's nothing to be afraid about. Also, using props, it creates visual interest so that you can imagine yourself. Put them in a place where they're imagining themselves using the product and what the emotional payoff will be. Seeding the sale early on. Let me show you what I have for you. Creating irresistible, declining bonuses. Give them reasons to say yes. Tell them what's already going through their minds. Creating social proof. That means capturing proof. I'm doing that right now. You've seen it. You've seen it all the way around you. Acknowledging the buyers. Get off the fence. And then step 21, key 21 is simply summarize the value so that you can and reasons why. RW is reasons why. What are all the reasons why you know you want webcasting in your business right now? Think about that. Write that down. So this is the program, and we have actually 15 minutes to get inside here. So it's $19.97 right now. At the end of today, it's $24.97. The bonuses are declining, and as soon as I launch this without the bonuses, it's $29.97. So I'm going to be standing at the back to answer your questions, anything that you have for me. And this is also the lunch break, so make sure you are here right here at 1:30 because we're going to be doing the live cast. You're going to see this in motion, and follow me in the back, and I'll answer your questions. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this is fun and enjoyable for you.